Hey guys, I like to do story updates because I don't have to edit anything and can talk to you guys raw, uncut, unscripted. I'm never scripted anyway, but a lot of things going on in the news, right? I did a Mike Glover show episode yesterday on an update on Tyrone Woods' truck. We got a sponsor, Carnivalt, a freeze dried meat company focused on high quality beef, pork, and chicken, expanding to bison, salmon, a whole bunch of cool stuff. Premium brand. They have just told me they're going to sponsor this Tyrone Woods truck build, which has gotten more complicated because I just found out yesterday the frame is bent. So it needs a new frame. It basically needs a resto mod. It needs to be completely redone. It's a lot of work, but the goal is to raise awareness, to remember the legacies of men like Glenn Doherty and Tyrone Woods that sacrificed it all for our country. Politics aside, the story is their story, their history. And what better way to highlight that than rebuild Tyrone Woods' truck and give it away to charity? Whether that's a raffle, a giveaway, whatever it is, raise awareness, optimize awareness, and give back to Navy SEAL Foundation, one of the nonprofits that support these families. So I'm honored to be part of it. It's not my story to tell, it's Tyrone and Glenn's story to tell, which we will do our best in telling that story. Oh, by the way, I'll link Carnivalt down below if you guys want to support them. Also Wasatch Wagyu, a local company owned by my buddy Greg that's donating to the cause as well. I'll link that down below as well. The Epstein case. So frustrating. But I'm not surprised. It's the game that we're observing. That's like Game of Thrones. It's a game. Every day there's a different strategy for what the other team is doing to win. It's disgusting. It's gross. It makes me sick to my stomach. To see everybody weaponizing the justice system to go after their opponents is insane. But it's ongoing. It continues to happen. All across the country, by the way. And then the way that the other side flexes on the other side is by using their judges, by digging deep through people's records. And trust me, I'm not making any excuses for crooked politicians because I think they're all crooked. It's rare to find a politician that's not crooked. A politician that makes $150,000 a year but has a net worth of $100 million. Yeah, how does that work? Politics aside, it's disgusting that the administration is going to look us in the face and tell us that everything is a conspiracy. That's fascinating because the reports from the investigation tell us a different story. That there are many perpetrators. There are flight logs that have those perpetrators, and there's 2,500 victims. But again, all of it will be suppressed. I'm not surprised if this will be suppressed because I'm talking about this circumstance. I also talked about China's unobstructed access to American land, farms, and companies. The largest pork producer, I talked about this on Mike Glover's show yesterday. The largest pork producer in the country is Smithfield Foods, which is owned by the Chinese. 26% of all pork in America is owned by Smithfield. Well, it's employed many Americans. I don't care how many Americans it's employed. I don't care if the CEO, top down, all the executives are American. I don't care. It's owned by the Chinese, which means they have access and placement that's unobstructed with 500 different farms, 384,000 acres, infrastructure, water rights, aquifers, rivers. And we're asking ourselves to propose a bill to stop them from buying land near military installations. Like a very niche, narrow focus. Why would any adversary be able to purchase anything in America, especially farms and land and water rights? The same country, by the way, that's infiltrated our country with the cartels and killing Americans. And we're okay with that? I saw a story this morning on local news that Utah's shutting it down right now. Good for Utah. At least Governor Cox or somebody's doing something about it. That should stop now. Every single state in America, if there's a loophole federally that the Chinese have been able to, which there is, the state should be shutting it down right now. And how is there not one conglomerate of wealthy individuals looking at the Smithfield Farms and food industry acquisition, that $4.7 billion acquisition, and not saying, hey, we need to keep food sovereignty and safety secure in America? Or not. I mean, does anybody really care? It doesn't seem like anybody cares. And that's just the situation that we're in. Unfortunately, that's just the situation that we're in. I also just did part 2. Man, I got a lot of things going on. It's busy. I just did part 2 of a podcast that I will link down below for you guys, where I talked to a former medically retired Green Beret named Eric. I talked to his wife in part 2 about her ongoing case. In the state of Utah, like many states, as required by law, the state is required to provide mental health services, especially those who've been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress. That includes in the statute in Utah, it includes 2 separate psych evals, immediate psychological help. They're not to isolate and incarcerate. Her husband instead was thrown into Wasatch County Jail, thrown into solitary confinement. He's not there now. I don't want to exaggerate here, but he was in solitary confinement. And he had outbursts in court because he's been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress, TBI, and CTE. Like, it just shows you how broken this system is and how much empathy that these judges lack for those that have served this nation. Look, I don't have a grand expectation that we're supposed to kiss veterans' asses, but I do have an expectation that my taxpayer dollars that pay these judges' salary, that are on the ballot, that are elected, that they should be making the right decisions, unbiased, impartial, to support veterans that are going through a lot of diagnosed mental health crisis. Why is that too hard to ask? Why is that too hard to ask in our country to take care of our veterans? Nasa, Eric's wife, has been trying to get Eric help for years. The VA has said, we don't have a program. They claim $1.2 million of funding for each veteran for post-traumatic help. Really? So you got post-traumatic, diagnosed, mental health diagnosed veterans that are supposed to get $1.2 million of help. Where's the $1.2 million come from? I've been to VA plenty of times. I haven't seen that. You know what I've seen? I've seen veterans screaming in VA. 60, 70-year-old Vietnam vets being drug out of the hospital by Veteran Affairs Police because they're acting insane, irate, frustrated at a system that doesn't care. We continue to tell that story and expose all of these corrupt liars, manipulators, crooked judges that continue to take advantage of these veterans and put them where they want, underneath the jail. They want to bury these guys underneath the jail because they look at veterans as liabilities to the community. They don't want to get them help. But if it was any other narrow demographic in DEI, for sure they'd get the help they needed because they're a protected class. Why aren't veterans a protected class? It's frustrating, to say the least. So I'm headed off. I'm going to do some content today on Patreon. I already did a bag video on 72-hour disaster bag. I think I'm going to do some grip stuff and self-defense and then get on with my day. That Land Cruiser update video is going to be launched tomorrow. Hope you guys have a good day. Appreciate you. Till next time.